So today I'll be here to share with you, continue with the gradual discourse series. So now it's very organized, very systematic. Instead of random Dharma talks, you have a series. Sister Kahong was sharing before me. So you started with Dana, and then with Sila. So I suppose are all of you familiar with this graduated discourse or gradual training method? No. Don't know. Very good. You don't know, at least yeah, just now the MC make an introduction. She mentioned something about what in Pali, you mentioned the Pali word. At least for Sister Yenwa. What? It's a Pali word, doesn't matter. I'm not good in Pali, but basically that means a gradual discourse. In case some of you are not familiar, I think not all are familiar. So just a little bit introduction, at least for Sister Niwa. Thank you for asking. Okay, so this is an introduction. So when the Buddha was sharing in India during that time, the Buddha has different, I would say like different teaching methodology. So for in different settings, different people, they got the different teaching method. Just like in school, you got different teaching methodology. So one of the methodology or one of the styles of teaching is called the gradual training or gradual discourse. That means step by step. So the Buddha would like give a syllabus, this is the overall is a Dharma course, but there's a syllabus. Like in primary school, the syllabus, secondary school got syllabus, then university got the syllabus. So it's step by step, start from kindergarten, then primary school, then secondary school, then university. So the style we are following here is the Anupubbī-kathā. I remember Basika. You cannot remember Basika. Basika. Basika, you know what's Basika? Basika. Sometimes you're not familiar with Pali, very difficult to remember the words, So I remember Basika, right Basika. Slowly, you learn, you write Basika, you have to go slowly, Basika, because that is the Pali word. So I mentioned the word gradual training or gradual discourse. Gradual means 慢慢来啦, step by step, one step at a time. So you want to learn a little bit of Pali. I'm not good in Pali. That's how I remember I link. So Basika, I remember the word. It's not the Buddha's teaching. That's how I remember the Pali word. Basika. When you learn to write Basika, it's not that immediately you know how to write Basika. You have to go gradually, step by step. Isn't it? So that's the Pali word. The English word is gradual training or gradual discourse, step by step. Right? So the step-by-step formula we use is the Dana Sila Bhavana formula. So that's why the Sister Kahong, the before this you were talking about Dana, about generosity. So the usual sequence is take refuge in the Triple Gem, Buddha Dharma Sangha, and then Dana, generosity. So after about Dana, about giving, about generosity, then we go to virtue, which is about precept, about morality. So Yanwa got it. So that is the Basika thing. Look at it. Step by step Basika. So interestingly, I said the Buddha actually used different teaching methodology. Sometimes he used this gradual discourse, step by step. Sometimes he used another method called Dharma in brief. Dharma in brief. Some of you who are in the Sutta studies, you might come across this. Sometimes the Buddha used the Dharma in brief method, which is slightly different. Dharma in brief method, not systematic one. So the Buddha straight away give a specific teaching. The rationale is during the Buddha's time, not everyone is as fortunate as us. You can come to Nalanda Buddhist Society, attend different Dharma talk, different workshop, different training, different retreat. Not everyone is so fortunate. So during the Buddha's time, a lot of people only had a chance to meet the Buddha once. Just one time. Isn't it? Those of you who read the suttas and the Buddha's teaching, one time. So very often, the people will say something like, "Oh, Buddha, I only got one chance to meet you, It's like I come to Nalanda, but it's like only one time, one time I may not meet you again, So if I do meet you just one time, just give me the most important teaching, the summary, the abstract. It's like you read journal, a journal got the abstract, You don't have the time to read everything. Give me the essence, the abstract. So that is called the Dharma in brief method. So example of Dharma in brief method, the Buddha will straight away talk about the four foundation of mindfulness, or talk about the five aggregates, or talk about the anicca, dukkha, anatta. So you don't have to know it in details. It's sufficient to know that the Buddha has a different style of teaching. One style is the gradual training, or the gradual discourse, or the Basika thing. Basika, remember Basika? They are also undergraduate training. Lastly, Sister Kahong talk about dana, isn't it? Something like that. Not necessarily the coming ones. Something like that, coming one. Very good. Actually, I didn't want to elaborate, but since you asked, I will share. Good. Even under the gradual discourse, they also got sub style. So there's a Dana Sila Bhavana formula. There's a Sila Samadhi Panya formula. Actually, they're all the same. They're all similar. It's just that you write the syllabus in different way. Actually, they're similar. The Dana Sila Bhavana style, Dana is giving, generosity. Sila is morality or virtue. Bhavana is mental cultivation. Okay. Usually, generally speaking, for laymen, when the Buddha was talking to laymen, he will use this Dana Sila Bhavana formula. When he was speaking to monks and nuns, which is the more serious practitioner, he will use the Sila Samadhi Panya formula. Of course, Sila is still morality, virtue. Samadhi is more of a calmness or stillness. And Panya is about wisdom. But it's slight difference. And since we are all laymen, all of us are laymen here, we are not monks or nuns. So it makes sense that we follow the Dana Sila Bhavana formula. So it makes perfect sense to me. So when the organizer invited me and tell me about this framework, I think it's a very good framework because we are laymen. We're not monks and nuns, so we follow the Dana, Sila, Bhavana formula. Sister Kahong, Dana. Today I Sila. Then the next round will be all on the rest. Bhavana is mental cultivation. Okay. So this Samadhi is calmness or stillness or composure. So this is an introduction. So I want to link to the previous speaker. And also if you're joining the future talks, at least there is a framework. Panya is wisdom. Panya is wisdom. Okay. I hope this is a good introduction to connect with the previous talk and the coming one. Just now we have chanting. So just now when we will do chanting, we have to chant flat so that we are in unison and in harmony. When we sing, we can sing melodiously. So just now in what you were asking about doing in a melodious state, now we can do it in melodious state because we are going to sing now. Yes. So singing cannot flat one. Singing cannot flat. If it's flat, it's not called singing. Because singing got tune one, so it's not flat. So you use the Huayi Pinyin, if you use that for singing, it's no longer singing. So I would like to share with you the song that I written many years ago. It feels like past life. So I was preparing for this talk. I was looking at my notes, and most of my notes were when I was studying in UPM. I was part of the UPM. By the way, any one of you are UPM graduate? I wonder how many are UPM graduate? University Putra Malaysia, UPM graduate. Not so many anymore. UPM graduate. Yeah. What year? Still studying. I graduated in year 2000. So I'm part of the UPM English Dhamma study group. So one of the sessions we are preparing on this precepts. So I look back at the notes. It really feels like past life. So I wrote this song many years ago, but long time didn't sing. But since I'm sharing on this topic, so I'd like to share with you the song. So I'll sing to you. Non-flat. The wonderful precepts I observe, you observe, we observe. The wonderful precepts we observe. As a guardian of the world we love. The wonderful precepts I observed, you observe, we observe. The wonderful precepts we observe. As a gift of respect we deserve. The wonderful precepts I observed, you observed, we observed. The wonderful precepts we observe as a path to stillness and wisdom. Then, one. So I make the lyrics simple. The first three lines are always the same. The wonderful precept I observe, you observe, we observe. So that part is always the same. The wonderful precepts we observe. Then the fourth line got three versions. As a guardian of the world we love, as a gift or respect we deserve, and as a path to stillness and wisdom. As a guardian of the world we love, as a gift or respect we deserve, as a path to stillness and wisdom. Shall we? So Yanwa, singing can be melodious. Yeah? Chanting also can be melodious. There's no right, no wrong. Sing flat is also correct. Chant flat is correct. Chant melodious is also correct. But since you want me to be in unison, you have to standardize it. Cannot 1% melodious, 1% flat. There's no right, no wrong. Okay. But for singing in melodious, singing cannot be flat. You cannot. Shall we sing together? Can I? Okay. But maybe the beat of this song is the pom chak chak style 3/4. 1, 2, 3. The wonderful precepts I observe, you observe, we observe. The wonderful precepts we observe. As a guardian of the world we love. The wonderful precepts I observe, you observe, we observe. The wonderful precepts we observe. As a gift of respect we deserve. The wonderful precepts I observe, you observe, we observe. The wonderful precepts we observe as a path to stillness and wisdom. Okay. So the first round of singing. Later we're going to have second round. Later we're going to sing with a tambourine. But not this song later. Okay. So Gemma, all right. So singing, can sing melodiously. Yeah. Okay. So back to this gradual discourse, gradual training, focusing on Sila. So Sila basically means morality or virtue. So these terms are used synonymously. Sila, morality, ethical conduct, precepts. They are all usually used interchangeably. So for laymen, we are not monks and nuns. Usually you talk about Sila or virtue, we are talking about the 5 precepts. I think all of us are familiar with the 5 precepts. Just now we chanted the 5 precepts. Remember, we chanted the 5 precepts. I hope you remember. Okay. I'm also I'm so glad that just now the brother who taught us about chanting, who was the one with the you, huh? So I'm very glad that I remember the slide just now I saw. He taught us about chanting, how to chant in unison, chant in harmony. I'm very glad that the number 1 point, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. I remember number 4 is to have to reflect on the Dharma. So most importantly, when we chant, actually I will say to me, the most important part is still understanding. Of course, chanting in unison, in harmony is good, but I'll say if I were to pick the most important part, the most important part will still be understanding. So just now we recited Anupubbī-kathā, so we will try to understand it now. Okay. So the 5 precepts. The first one, the first precept is to abstain or refrain from killing. To abstain from killing or refrain from killing. Usually in precept, there are 2 parts to a precept. This one is not known to many. Usually we will recite the first part, which is to refrain from killing or to abstain from killing. But the precept also has another part, which is the cultivation part. The second word, the cultivation part. Cultivation part. So the first part is the abstaining part, refrain from killing. This is the one that most of us are familiar. But not many people are familiar that there's a second part. There's a second half to it. It's like the other side of the coin, which is the cultivation part, which is to save and protect life. You can imagine like a brother sister. So the first part is the brother, the second part is the sister. Or you can imagine there's 2 sides of a coin. 2 sides of a coin. So the brother is to refrain from killing. The sister is to save and protect life. Got it? So every precept got 2 sides. Like a brother, sister. Similar. Just different words. Just different words. So you can say the first precept is to refrain from killing. You can also say to abstain from killing. To abstain from killing, to refrain from killing, also can. So my suggestion, we should learn not to cling to words. Any words, it doesn't matter whether it's English or Chinese or Pali, doesn't matter. Most importantly is the understanding, not the words. I'm sure you go to an English dictionary and check a thesaurus, there'll be many words, and different people give different meaning to the words. Doesn't matter. So step 1, you choose the word you are most comfortable. It can be as simple as to not to kill, no killing, or not to kill. No killing, not to kill, refrain from killing, abstain from killing. You can use any words you like, as long as we understand the spirit behind the teaching. Okay.
They do it for a living. I mean, they don't purposely go and kill the animal and food, right? I've seen before.
Sister, well, maybe I suggest, okay, let me give an introduction to the 5 precepts. Okay, I'll give the introduction to the 5 precepts, and each precept will be there are 2 parts. So the abstaining part and the cultivating part. And then we go into the details. So this is also in the spirit of bicycle training. Vasika training, gradual training, gradual discourse. Oh yes, yeah. So step by step. So it's important to go think step by step, is it? But your questions are very good. You keep to a little bit longer. In case I don't answer your questions, please remind me. So the 5 precepts is the basic code of morality, the basic virtue for layman. So just remember for a moment, the first precept, to refrain from killing, to save and protect life. Second precept is to, the abstaining part is refrain from stealing, and the cultivation part is to give and share generously. So far good? Maybe afterwards you test the memory. Afterwards I will test your memory. So remember the keywords are the keywords. The keywords are keyword is stealing. Refrain from stealing. The cultivate is to give and share. Remember the keywords. For the first one, refrain from killing. That's the keyword. For the cultivation is to save and protect life. Remember the keywords. Third one, to abstain from sexual misconduct. Sexual misconduct a little bit confusing. This word can be misleading. It doesn't mean to refrain from sexual activity. Okay, it means to refrain from things like adultery, cheating, betrayal in relationship, sexual harassment, rape, this kind of thing. It's not refraining from sexual activity. So for the 5 precepts, sexual misconduct means those things I mentioned. It's not to refrain from sexual activity. Then the other side of the coin, the sister part is to cultivate respect and be committed in relationship. Again, remember the keywords. Refrain from sexual misconduct, respect, be committed in relationship. Just a little cartoon, funny cartoon to share with you. Very cute. You take a picture of this and then you meditate on it, and cartoon for you to meditate. And then you tell me later why it's funny. So you take a picture. Then you meditate on it later. Okay, number 4 is to refrain from false speech. So the brother part, the inverted comma brother part is to refrain from false speech. The sister part, the cultivation part is to listen deeply and say kind words. So got 2 parts. When I first learned about the precept about virtue, I focus more on the first part. 4 precept is don't lie. Then later I realized actually there's another part to it. The sister part, the cultivation part. Again, remember the keywords. And what? In case we forget, we'll ask you because you're making notes. Very good. In case we forget. You can take note, take picture. Just remember the keywords. Okay. So sometimes the false speech, sometimes is the Buddha actually elaborated. False speech sometimes is elaborated into 4 parts. To refrain from, of course, refrain from false speech. The most basic is you refrain from lying. It's also to refrain from divisive speech. Divisive means that you tell something that make people gaddle, make people fight. Even though it's a truth, okay, so I will tell you, but you don't say I tell you. She said bad things about you, and this is the truth, I never musawada. It's true. She said bad things about you, I tell you, but you don't tell that I tell you. That's divisive speech. When they invited me to give a talk, she said this about you, and I'm telling the truth. That is called divisive speech. You say something that make people quarrel. That is called divisive speech. Okay? Abusive speech, all the harsh one, harsh words. Gossip is talk, frivolous talk. Sometimes the word the Buddha use is frivolous talk. Talk nonsense, and all one will spread to the You talk nonsense, like very easy. We'll go into gossiping. Gossiping will go to divisive. Initially, it's not is a truth that will become distorted. Okay. So sometimes the refrain from false speech. False speech is not just lying. The main point I'm going to say, false speech is not just lying. False speech include frivolous speech, talking nonsense, gossiping, talking bad about people, and dividing people. So I think false speech is quite broad. And more importantly, it's also learn how to listen deeply and say kind words. And the last one is the abstain for alcohol and intoxicating drugs. Alcohol and intoxicating drugs like marijuana, methamphetamine, heroin, all these drugs, they're all sorts of drugs, ecstasy, alcohol. Okay? Because the sisterly part is to cultivate a clear and peaceful mind. Okay, just a bit test of memory. Basika style, gradual training. At least gradual training will start, but at least do you see whether remember or not. So for the first precept, what is the abstaining part? You hear me, and what is the cultivating part? Very good, good memory. I won't go in sequence, I will jump, see whether you're remembering or not. The fourth precept, which is the abstaining part. Okay, the cultivating part. Very good. Jump to second precept. What is the abstaining part? Abstain from stealing. The cultivating part. Give and share, like what we are doing now. Service. That's why it's called service, isn't it? Give and share. Fifth precept. Okay, the cultivating part. Did I miss any precept? The third one, third one start from the cultivating one. Cultivating. The abstaining part. Abstain from sexual misconduct. Okay, very good. So in summary of what I mentioned so far, so for every precept, there's an abstaining part, there's a cultivating part. The abstaining part is abstain from killing, abstain from stealing, abstain from sexual misconduct, abstain from lying, and abstain from intoxicant. So that is the brotherly part, inverted comma, the brotherly part. Okay, that is the sisterly part. The cultivation part is to cultivate kindness, cultivate generosity, respect, truthfulness, and clarity of mind. So that is the basic introduction, Basika style, step by step. Okay? I will skip this paper. You remember just now, my first slide, I mentioned that the Buddha has at least two styles of teaching. One is the gradual discourse way, step by step. Sometimes the Buddha will use the Dharma in brief, give you the chicken essence, the essence, So in this morning's Dharma sharing, I will combine two methods. So I will use the inverted comma, the Basika style, the step by step. Or I'll also go the Dharma in brief method. So for this 1 hour sharing, of course, I got a lot of things to share, but now I'm going to give you the Dharma in brief. The Dharma in brief or the precepts in brief. So in case you cannot stay so long, in case your attention drifts off, or in case we don't meet again, or you somehow we cannot complete this sharing, at least you get the Dharma in brief. Okay. The Dharma in brief, the essence that I want to highlight today is it's much more important for us to focus on the why and how of precepts. It's much more important to focus on the why and how of precepts than focusing on whether a precept is broken or not broken. I repeat, since this is the Dharma in brief, the essence, I'll repeat. It's much more important to focus on the why and how of practicing the precepts or virtue or morality than focusing or obsessing about whether a precept is broken or not broken. And the why, I'm referring to compassion. Why do we practice precept? Basically, it's about compassion. Okay? How is a lot about wisdom. Another way of saying it's much important to focus on the wisdom and the compassion aspect of the precept, rather on whether the precept is broken or not. Not sure whether that makes sense to you, because in my experience, my own Dharma learning, I can see there's a progression of my understanding of precept. When I first started, I was very obsessed. I was very obsessed with each precept. What are the conditions for breaking the precept? So is this precept broken or not broken? In this condition, is the precept broken or not broken? If broken, which precept broken, not which broken? That's how I started. Nothing wrong with that. That is a Basika style. That's the first step. But the more important part is the why and the how. Okay? And in summary, the why is out of compassion, out of kindness, out of respect. And the how will be a lot of wisdom. So that is the Dharma in brief that I want to focus, I want to emphasize today. I think most of us here, most are not all, most of us have lived long enough to realize that life sometimes can be complicated. It's not so black and white, whether the precept is broken or not broken. It's a lot of gray areas, especially in my field. I'm a medical doctor. So there are a lot of ethical issues in my profession. It's not so straightforward, not so simple as, yes, the precept is broken. No, the precept is not broken. It's more important to understand the why and how. And okay, so different people practice the precepts, practice virtue, practice morality differently. Some people practice the precept like parrot. When I was a kid, I like to visit one of my uncle. Okay, the reason is because my uncle had a parrot. And this parrot was very cute because the parrot can imitate whatever I say. If I say hello, the parrot will say hello. If I say good morning, the parrot will say good morning. It's very cute. As a kid, I like that. Talk to the parrot. It's nice to play with the parrot, you know. So that reminds me of that. So whatever you say the parrot will repeat after you. You say Namo Tassa, if you train the parrot enough, the parrot will say Namo Tassa. You can train the parrot to recite. I'm not sure whether any parrot can recite, but I suppose you can train a parrot to recite the 5 precepts. Okay? But very likely, the parrot cannot understand. So many of us, when we practice the precept, we practice like parrots. You can chant the precept forward, backward, very good in the chanting, can chant in unison. Can chant in unison harmony, but may not understand the meaning. This should not be the way. That shouldn't be the way. Okay? So we should chant. Chanting is good. Chanting is one way to remind ourselves. Chanting helps with composing the mind. Right? But we should chant with understanding. Some people practice precepts like sheep. Kambing biri biri. UPM still got sheep. Still got the one of the nice memory. Bukit Sedang. No, Bukit Sedang. What's the place? Bukit Expo. Still got Bukit Expo. Don't know. So you look sheep. So usually the sheep behavior. The sheep will go in together and one will follow the rest. Will follow, isn't it? One go to the left, all will go to the left. Or one go to the right, all will go to the right. All go forward, will go forward. So that's a sheep behavior. They will go together. So certain people, when they practice precept, they practice like sheep. It just follow. Just follow. People say cannot take egg. You don't take egg. People say cannot take onion, you don't take onion. People do this, they just follow. People do that, they just follow. You ask why? Cannot. So that is practicing like sheep without understanding. Not good enough. Maybe as a start, Basika start as a start, maybe. But we should gradually advance our understanding. Yeah. That means follow only, no understanding. So sheep, like kambing, they will follow. So one go to the right, the rest will follow. One will run, or they will run. One stop, slowly they will stop. So similarly, a lot of us, when we practice precepts, we just follow. Just because the Buddha says so, just because Nalanda Buddhist Society says so, just because the Dharma friend says so, we ask why do you practice that? A lot of people do not know. This shouldn't be the way. We should upgrade. I mean, we can start with this, but we surely upgrade. Gradual teaching, gradual discourse, gradually have to upgrade. Next one is practice virtue like donkey. Donkey known for stubborn. So you practice that because you're pressured, not because you truly believe that it's important. This pressure can be also social pressure. Can be a social pressure, especially in the Buddhist organization. So I have to conform to the group. Else, I'm maybe different. So I conform. So you do this, I also do this. You do that, I also do that. You say don't kill mosquito, I also don't kill mosquito. But do I really believe why I don't kill mosquito? No. Because you do it, I do it. If you do it, I don't do it, a bit funny. So that is doing with pressure. It can be social pressure or being forced by somebody. So that's also doing practicing precept without understanding. Again, it is not wrong, but that is the kindergarten level. We should gradually upgrade. Donkey stubborn. I'm not sure whether they're really stubborn. Any veterinarian here, I'm not sure. By the way, I studied vet last time. But usually English expression, donkey is stubborn. It's just an analogy. So stubborn, you're forced, you're pressured to do it, not because you believe the virtue is important. Okay, next one is deer. Deer, you're gonna ask me why deer, isn't it? I anticipate your question already. Deer is like very scared. Again, I'm not a veterinarian. I'm not sure whether the deer is fearful, but that's the usual description. Deer is very, very scared. Deer is scared. So some people practice because of fear. I don't harm you because I fear I will go to hell. Not because I respect you, Not because I respect you, But if I don't go to hell, I sure slap you already. That's fear. You do it out of fear. Also not the better way. They say it's not wrong, it's not totally wrong. But we should try to upgrade our understanding. So Yanhua, test the memory. How many animals have I covered so far? Parrot. How many? How many? Yesterday I tested my mom's memory. So I also the best gift to our parents is the gift of Dharma. I'm grateful my mom is still around, 78 years old. I'm staying with her now. So every day got chance to teach her, to share Dharma with her. So I'm sharing this. So I told my son, I'm sharing in Nalanda, I should share with my mom as well. So I share with her. I got one more animal afterwards. Okay, anyway, I tell you the next one. Okay. The next one is owl. Owl represent wisdom, compassion. Don't ask me whether owl is really wise or not. I'm not a vegetarian, but usually owl is used to represent wisdom. Okay? So the proper way to practice morality, practice precept, practice virtue is with wisdom and compassion like an owl. I cannot find a sutta reference for these animals. If any one of you can find, please let me know. But over the years, I find it very useful. Like any one of you can find the sutta reference, sutta or commentaries, let me know. Anyway, very useful analogy. So I was testing my mom. 78 already got memory problem. So I had to start with very basic. So I told her about these 5 animals. So I test her. So I tell her, so these 5 animals, parrot, then sheep, donkey, deer, and owl. Okay? Okay. So I asked her to remember. Then 5 minutes later, I asked her again. By the way, this is one of the tests for dementia. You go to a doctor, they will say, they will tell you, remember these 5 things. Then 5 minutes later, I will ask you again and see whether you can remember. Okay. 5 minutes already. Okay. Can you recall? We test her first. See got dementia or not. You know what dementia or not? 老人痴呆, Alzheimer's disease, memory problem. So I test you. Okay, I compare your result with my mom's result. Okay, so what are the 5 animals? Do I want to show you first? Okay, what are the 5 animals? Oh, parrot, sheep, donkey, deer, owl. Oh, very good. Sadhu. Very good. So you have no dementia. But my mom only got 4 of the animals. Only 4. She got correct. 1 she couldn't remember. Yeah, I told my mom jokingly 20% dementia. But I test her again and she got better. Today I go back, I'm going to test her again. So most importantly, is to observe virtue, practice virtue with wisdom and compassion. So that is the Dharma. This is the Dharma in brief. You should understand the precept, morality, virtue with wisdom and compassion. So the next 7 slides are going to focus on the wisdom and compassion aspect of virtue. So I give this title, the 7 right mindsets for embracing virtue, which is wisdom and compassion. But before I share with you the 7, maybe we can do a little bit of brainstorming. Can you guess? So I got 7 slides. Because I say 7 right mindset. 7 right mindset for embracing virtue, wisdom and compassion. That means got 7 main points. So instead of I spoon feed you one by one, maybe we can just brainstorm. You've not seen my slides, isn't it? None of you have seen my slides, isn't it? Not yet, yeah. Randomly, anyone? What do you think will be the important mindset? Mindset is the opposite of behavior. Behavior is just do it, Behavior is just do it. Mindset is the attitude. The attitude. The intention, something like that. Okay. So it should be out of kindness. The mindset should be out of kindness. Okay, very good. So 1 slide, no need to talk already. Yes, kindness. Kindness is one of the things. The mindset will be kindness. What else? Alert. So remember. Alert of the surrounding. Okay, possible. Do you see how we can relate to that afterwards? Alert, kindness, alert. Would that be related to mindfulness? Mindful. Interesting point. In fact, Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. Have you heard of Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh? He's the late Venerable Thich Nhat Hanh. He's a Vietnamese Zen master. Okay, he formulated the precepts in a form of mindfulness, which is not the traditional way of phrasing it, but he did it that way. So it's mindful not to cause harm, mindful not to kill, mindful not to cause harm, mindful not to cause harm by speech, mindful to listen mindfully. That's quite interesting. Okay, so alertness, mindfulness, kindness. What else? Humility, humble. Okay, humility, humble. So we don't practice precept to tell people how Phang or how great we are lah. No, oh, I practice 8, you know. I 10, you know. You 8 only, I 10, you know. Humility lah, humility. Yes, humility is one point. Humility, mindfulness, alert, kindness. Well, generous. So it's like gift lah. It's a form of gift. Generous. Oh, interesting. You mentioned all the points already. I have nothing to talk about. Generosity as a form of gift. Kindness, alertness, mindfulness, humility. Very good. No slides to talk already. Discipline. Okay. So effort, discipline. What else? Contentment, gratitude, contentment. Can? Wow, I have nothing to talk already. You have summarized everything, the Dharma in brief. Yeah. Anyone? Parrot only. Let's parrot together, understand. Okay, good. So the next 7 slides, there'll be 7 points. It's more of an expansion. You're given the Dharma in brief. You already mentioned Dharma in brief. Kindness, mindfulness, alertness, generosity as a gift, humility, discipline, effort. That is the Dharma in brief. So please allow me to expand Dharma in brief. Hey. Shall we sing the song again? Who wants to hold your timing? I teach you how to use this first. That's a slide on singing. This one. Try. So there is something like jack, jack, boom, jack, jack. The wonderful precepts I observe you. Something like that. So first round I do, second round you do. Can I? Can I? Anyway, I'm not tried with this. I tried to sing at home without this. This is the first time I did this, you know. I also try. So I die first. The wonderful precepts I observe. You observe. We observe. Wonderful precepts we observe. As a guardian of the world we love. The wonderful precepts I observe. You observe. We observe. Wonderful precepts we observe. As a gift of respect we deserve. The wonderful precepts I observe. You observe. We observe. The wonderful precepts we observe. As a path to stillness and wisdom. Right. Repeat lah. Okay. Ready? Okay. The wonderful precepts I observe. You observe. We observe. The wonderful precepts we observe. As the guardian of the world we love. Wonderful precepts I observe. You observe. We observe. Wonderful precepts we observe. we deserve. Wonderful precept I observe. You observe. We observe. Wonderful precept we observe. As a path to stillness and wisdom. Very good. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. After your turn. The last round afterwards, you go faster. So this one, we just started learning, go slow lah. Later when we have more wisdom, more joy, we sing faster. To be the wonderful precept I observe. You observe, we observe. The wonderful precept we observe. As a guardian of the world we love. Last round will be like this. Graduated discourse, gradual training to upgrade. Okay, back to the 7 mindset. Okay. So the first mindset. I follow the precepts because of respect, not because the Buddha says so. So just now in the singing, respect is one of the words in the lyrics, isn't it? The wonderful precept we observe. As a gift of respect, we deserve. Respect is also one of the Nalanda values. Right? I remember just now reciting. So we follow precept because of respect, not because the Buddha says so. This is very important. Okay. So I don't cheat you. I don't kill you. I don't steal things from you because of respect. Isn't it? Similarly, you respect me, I also respect you. We respect one another. Simple as that. Not because the Buddha says so, not because the sutta says so, not because the commentary says so, not because the Nalanda Buddhist Society says so. We practice it because of respect. Simple as that, isn't it? So sometimes we become very obsessed with the precept. Is the precept broken, not broken, broken, not broken? If we are confused and not sure, we go back to the basic principle. We practice the precept out of respect, out of kindness, out of harmlessness. I try my best not to harm you. I try my best not to disrespect you. I try my best to be kind, because this is what I want. This is what all of us want, isn't it? You want respect, isn't it? I also want respect. You want to be treated kindly? I also want to be treated kindly. There's a nice story to accompany this. There's a nice story. This story about a king who wanted to find a good husband for his daughter. So the princess, so must get only one daughter, princess, only one daughter. So the king wanted to find the best. So in order to find the best husband for the daughter, the king organized a competition. It's a very interesting competition because the competition, the task of the competition is to be able to steal something without anyone knowing. Interested? Interesting or interested? Interesting. You're not interested in the daughter. You're not interested in the princess, the daughter. Interesting, Not interested, Yeah, that's again in trouble. So that was the competition. So a lot of young men registered for the competition. Hey, interesting. In case you are interested, also can join in the competition. But the task is to steal something without anyone knowing. To steal something is not too difficult. to steal something without anyone knowing, that is a challenge. And they gave them 2 weeks time to do it. 2 weeks time. So the king also quite compassionate, given 2 weeks time, not immediately, not overnight, 2 weeks time. Okay, and so 2 weeks later, all the young men gathered. So they brought different things. And basically they were reporting to the king, I managed to steal this. I managed to escape the law. I managed to do it without people knowing. But there's one particular gentleman. Was a bit interesting because he didn't bring anything. The rest, they brought all sorts of things that they have stolen. But this particular man brought nothing. Very profound, emptiness, brought nothing, emptiness, sunyata, brought nothing, So then the king asked, how come nothing? Nothing, how are you going to win my daughter's heart? How are you going to win the competition? Guess what he said? Can you imagine you are that gentleman who is not interested but finding it interesting? What would you say? Really nothing, Okay. So the gentleman, the young man said, a reason I bring nothing because it's impossible for me to steal something without anyone knowing. Because whenever I steal, even though nobody knows, I will know. Our conscience, I will know. So therefore, it's impossible. That's why I bring nothing. So who do you think was the most dumb one? The one who won the competition? This gentleman. Okay. So the king said, very good, well done. So you are the winner of the competition. You see, this gentleman has integrity, has honesty. Okay. So did he win the competition? Not important. Most importantly, he won the daughter's heart and the king's heart. And of course, in story, any tales they live happily ever after. But you get the moral of the story. So we practice the precept out of respect. It's out of the understanding of we respect. That doesn't matter whether people know or people don't know. Doesn't matter whether the Buddha says so or the Sutta. It's not important. Most importantly, we know is our respect. A little anecdote to share with you. It's some personal experience. Just 1 or 2 weeks ago. So in my clinic, now my hospital, my clinic has a new system, So they try to computerize. So everything click. Last time, right. I run out of pen very fast last time. That's why I buy pen, the whole box, I buy the whole box, not just 1 or 2. Now everything computerized. So the history taking also computerized. Order medication also computerized, just click. Charging also computerized. You just click, charge, how much. So got good, got no good. One or no good, you can make mistake. Okay. And one of the common mistake I make is I forgot to charge. So from patient point of view, forgot to charge. But anyway, this story is from my perspective. It's from patient perspective. I ask, let's say if I forget to charge you, what will you do after listening to this talk? Anyway, the story is not from the patient perspective, it's from the doctor's perspective. So often I forgot to charge. So my assistant or the counter has to remind me, doctor, you forgot to charge. I click lah. Hey, but the one I share with you, there's one time I overcharge. But most of the time I forgot to charge. But this time overcharge. It's like it's X amount, I go and charge double X amount. Okay. I don't know how I found out. I got to discover it later. Actually, patient already paid already. No complaint. Patient paid, went home already. I don't know why. Maybe the Deva was whispering to me or the Buddha was whispering to me. I check. Overcharge. Okay. So if you are there, what do you think I should do? Overcharge quite a lot. Double. I don't mind telling you the amount. The usual charge, because it's a first time consultation, is about 250. Okay. So the patient was overcharged 500. Double. Double. What should I do? Charge already. No problem. Patient pay already. Call. Very tired of you that day. Next consultation free lah. Can next consultation free. What else? But nobody knows, ma. Amara is whispering. I know. I didn't nobody know. My assistant doesn't know. The hospital doesn't know. The patient doesn't know. The patient family member also don't know. I know. Really, I know. Huh? Anyway, I call lah. I take refuge in the triple gem. Okay, I'm not perfect in the precept. Right? By the way, I have to make it clear. Although I'm sharing a precept, which I am not perfect in my precept. Let me clear. So, but I'm grateful that that moment I able to remember the Buddha's teaching and able to practice. The causes and conditions were favorable for me to practice. So I called out the patient. I said, I'm sorry that I overcharged. Okay, I'm calling here to tell you I'm overcharged. So you have two options now. One option, I'll ask the counter to refund you immediately, just transfer online. The other option will be the next consultation. Will deduct. So given two options. So the patient said, oh yeah, actually I don't know. So you're given two options. So I'm glad that I'm able to follow the Buddha's advice. Nobody knows, but I know. Conscience cannot. Anyway, he decided for immediate refund. Which I have no problem. But I'm hoping that secretly. But when I did that was purely out of observe the precept. Purely. I overcharged, right? It was my mistake. So I just refund. But I'm hoping that my honesty, my integrity will motivate him to come back for a follow-up. Actually, he was very reluctant. My field is a mental health field. A lot of people, when they come to me, not because they wanted to come to me, it's because their friends, their family members forced them to come. So he wasn't one of those who came voluntarily. He was reluctant. I hope my integrity, my honesty, will inspire him to sort of convey to him, I sincerely want to help him. I hope he'll come back for follow-up. We'll see. I will continue the story the next time. But whether he come back doesn't matter. Most important is the integrity part. Okay. The second mindset adjustment is the observing precept is the gift of fearlessness. Okay. So I follow the precept because I value kindness. So probably mentioned about kindness, isn't it? This. Okay. Not because I fear punishment, because of kindness, because of respect, out of kindness. Not because I fear punishment. If fear punishment means there's no karma, there's no law, then I won't do this. The same example. Okay. If I hate you a lot, I want to kill you. But because of the law of karma, because of a law, I will go to jail, if I don't have to go to jail, if not, there's no law of karma, I sure kill you. It's not the right understanding. We do it because of kindness. Okay. This one I have to relate to Sister Kahong's talk previously. Okay. There's a connection between dana and sila. Again, wow, test of memory. What is dana? What is sila? Very good. Sila is. So today's talk is on. The talk by Sister Kahong that day was on. Very good. It seems that there are two different topics. Actually, they're related. Okay, so practicing precept is also a form of dana. It's the gift of fearlessness, abhaya dana. I think the Pali word is abhaya dana. So in this particular sutta found in the Anguttara Nikaya 8.39, the Buddha said that there are 5 gifts, 5 great gifts. And by doing so, these 5 things, they give to countless sentient beings the gift of freedom from fear, enmity, and ill will. In short, that these 5 things, if you do, it's a gift. This is related to what you mentioned. Right? Someone mentioned about generosity. You mentioned generosity. Okay, so observing the precept is a form of gift. It's a gift of fearlessness. So we are talking on the same topic, although different session. Practicing precept is a gift. It's a gift of respect, gift of fearlessness. Of course, breaking the precept would have certain karmic consequences. We don't deny that as well. It's true. In fact, it's mentioned by the Buddha. When we break the precept, there are karmic consequences. So in this chart, on the left side are the precept. Okay. In this particular sutta, the Buddha talked about the major karmic effect and the minor karmic effect. This I'm talking about the negative karmic effect. Okay. So for the major karmic effect, breaking the precepts can lead to hell, reborn in hell, rebirth in hell, the animal realms, or the ghost realm. So from a Buddhist perspective, these realms are below the human being. They're suffering planes. Okay? That was the major one. For the minor one, it can lead to those mentioned short lifespan, loss of wealth, bribery, false accusation, divided against friends, hearing disagreeable things, nobody take what we say seriously, and poor brain or mental function. So it's true that when we break the precept, there are major negative karmic consequences and minor negative karmic consequences. Okay? But that should not be the main reason. Agree? That should not be the reason. I practice because I respect you, because of kindness. I value harmlessness. Not because I want to prevent people. Then, okay, so the third one is harmonious living. Okay. So I follow the precept to enjoy life safely, not to make it hard. This one I got this important point from a talk by Ajahn Brahm. Especially you're talking to youngsters. So sometimes when you think of the precepts, you have these automatic thoughts. You have to practice so many precepts, got 5 precepts, 8 precepts, 10 precepts. It's like, why cannot enjoy life? Sometimes we got these thoughts, And I got this very important point from Ajahn Brahm. He said that observing the precept helps us to enjoy life safely. Have you thought of it can be worded in that way? Observing the precept can help us to enjoy life safely. So I find this quite meaningful. Okay? Example will be, okay. Let's say you want to go for a karaoke, you want to go disco. Youngsters want to go and try karaoke, go and try disco, or those things. Okay? So is it important if they go to a place which is safe? Safe in it. I want to go for party, go for it's important to go to safe. And that's why the precepts, avoid alcohol, avoid ecstasy pill, avoid drugs. So if you can see it that way, the precepts are not meant to restrict us. The precepts are meant to protect us so that we can enjoy life, we can live life safely. So I'll jump around, give the simile of the aquarium, the fish in an aquarium and the fish in the ocean. Do you prefer to be in your fish, Nemo? Do you prefer in the aquarium? A bit restricted, of course. Aquarium a bit restricted, but it's safe. You know, the big ocean, of course, full lot of freedom, but it can be dangerous. Okay? So this point helped me to look at the precept in a slightly different perspective. We can still enjoy life, but enjoy in a safe way. The enjoy life means live on your life in whatever field. If you relate to my field, if you come to the hospital, if you need a consultation, would you appreciate to have a doctor with integrity? Very important, isn't it? In fact, it's a very concern, isn't it? On and on, people ask for recommendation. Which doctor should I consult? You want to get a doctor who has integrity. Whether you can cure or cannot cure, in fact, to me, as a practitioner, of course, if you can cure, very good. But if you cannot cure, at least you don't cheat. You don't harm and don't cheat. So the take-home message for this is the precept help us to enjoy life, do whatever we want in safe ways. Can enjoy life. The Buddha said, never say we cannot enjoy life. Okay? But read the precept so that we can do things safely. Right? Fourth one, I follow the precept with kindness to myself. This one very important. I follow the precept with kindness to myself, not finding fault. This is also very, 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 very important. Okay. Sometimes we find fault with ourselves for breaking the precept. This one is a topic which is less commonly discussed. See, precepts are training rules. The Buddha never said, must not break this precept. The Buddha never said that once the precept is broken, then gone case. You go to hell forever. The Buddha never said that. The Buddha also never said that, once you've broken the precept, cannot practice the Dhamma, cannot progress anymore. No. Okay? So precepts are training rules. It's a gradual training rules. So if I broken a precept, it's okay. We just need to acknowledge, mindful. You mention mindful, alert, mindful of it. And just remind ourselves not to repeat the mistake. And bear in mind, finding fault with ourselves, criticizing ourselves, beating ourselves up for breaking the precept is a form of aversion. It's a form of ill will directed to the self. So all we need to do is repent and make aspiration. And this is one of the recitations that I do. As I said, I'm not perfect in my precept, but I try my best. So Pasika style, upgrade step by step. Okay, so this is what, if I've broken a certain precept, or if I feel that my precept is not good enough, this is what I recite. This comes from a little book by the late Venerable K. Sri Ramananda. Okay, so I read to you. Find it very meaningful. So, aspiration: if I stray from the true path, may I never do so again. If I have carelessly hurt someone today by word or deed, may I be more mindful the next time. O Buddha, the Enlightened One, help me to set my heart right. May my actions reflect your love and compassion. That's all. We don't have to send ourselves to jail. We don't have to condemn ourselves to hell. No need. We just have to acknowledge it and then just move on. I don't have to ask, who has broken the first precept, who has broken the... I'm sure everyone, all of us here have broken the precept before. All we need to do is just acknowledge it and move on. I always recall the Angulimala story. Remember Angulimala story? Angulimala was a serial killer during the Buddha's time. Okay? And he was able to let go of the killing and joined the Sangha, become a very good practicing monk, and became enlightened. So Angulimala, who killed 998 human beings, he could be enlightened. Why not? Have you killed 998? 999. Yeah. 999 mosquitoes. He killed 999 human beings. But it was able to repent, make acceleration. It's a very important part. If this is a very important sharing. If after attending a Dharma sharing on precept or participating in the Dharma discussion on precept, if that makes you feel bad, makes you feel horrible, makes you feel you hate yourself more, and you go back soft. So it's important for us to reflect. So we are having a Dharma sharing. So today, after you go back, you check, be mindful of your thoughts and feelings. If you feel bad, feel horrible, and you're stuck with that, something is not right. Okay, maybe you should reflect on this point more, and focus more on loving kindness, self-compassion, forgiveness, and more. Okay. 5. Almost time's up. Go a bit faster. I follow the precepts to care for well-being, not to compare that I'm better. This one the brother mentioned just now about humility. Who mentioned about humility just now? Yes, humility. So we practice the precept to care for our well-being. It's a collective well-being, not just my well-being or your well-being. It's care for our well-being, not to compare, not to say that, oh, you 5% only. I 8%, mine more king than yours, yours 8% full moon, new moon only. I 8% every day, or you 8% only, mine 10%, Okay. So that one is out of pride. That's not okay. If we ever share, this is very important. If we ever share about the precept, in fact, there's a recollection called there's a practice called recollection of Sila. Sila Nusati. We recited Buddha-nusati, Dhamma-nusati, Sangha-nusati, recollection of the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. There's also a practice called recollection of Sila. There's also a recollection of Dana. It's called Chaganusati. Chaganusati. There's also a Sila-nusati. Okay. Whenever recall our precept, I say one of the practice is recall our virtues. Okay. But the mindset is very important. We recall not to show off. Similarly, just now when I share about practice, I call the patient self-integrity. My intention, I have to be mindful of my intention. I have to guard my intention. My intention wasn't to tell you how great I am, how good I am in my precept. No, that was not my intention. My intention is to show you that's how I care for myself and I care for others is a collective well-being. I don't cheat my patient so that when I bring my family members to consult other doctors, doctors won't cheat my family members. It's a collective wellness. Sama-sama care. Not to compare, I am better than you, you're better than me, I'm more precept, I'm 227, I'm 311%. It's not to be that way. Okay. Number 6, I encourage others to follow precept by being a good example, not by judging people. So when we able to share is to inspire, to encourage people to practice precept, get not out of pride, not to tell how good we are, and also not to judge. So sometimes we are not careful when we share the precept. When we are not careful, we become very judgy. You shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Your precept kindergarten level, mine is university level. And yeah, that become very judgy. And from a psychology point of view, I'm a psychologist. So this one I have to be a bit mindful. Sometimes when we talk about precept, and when we share about precept, and we encourage precept, sometimes with the check, sometimes it's a defense mechanism. Have you heard of concept defense mechanism? Defense mechanism means something like this. I put it in very simple language and what jargon. Defense mechanism is like I'm trying to observe the precept. Actually, I'm not practicing well, or I'm finding fault with myself. Actually, the problem, I'm finding a lot of fault with myself. I'm not happy with the way I'm practicing precept. Of course, that is an unpleasant feeling, isn't it? Okay, but psychologically, the way that I overcome it is by telling other people to about the precept. Hey, you must observe this well, you must observe. Hey, yours is not good enough, not good enough, it can be better, it can be better. Is that you're projecting on other people, but psychologically is the self. There's a lot of hatred, there's a lot of ill will on the self. You project it on other people. I don't know under what point should we put, but as a psychologist, this is something I want to emphasize. The important, we just acknowledge. If you book a precept, just acknowledge. Simple as that. Okay. If we share, if you want to encourage people to practice the precept, I would say the best way is by practicing ourselves, especially for children. If you ask children to recite the precept 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you ask them what are the 5 animals, that is a very intellectual level. I believe the best is by example. Gandhi story lah. I want to skip. You ask that. Okay, short one. Okay, you know Mahatma Gandhi? Mahatma Gandhi from India. Very famous one, Mahatma Gandhi. So there's one story of him that there was a mother. Any mothers around here? Mother. Okay. So the mother had a daughter. So they asked Mahatma Gandhi, tell my daughter, you see, my daughter is eating too much of sweet food, excessive sweet food. So the Gandhi was a respected person. So he wanted to ask Gandhi to tell the daughter, hey, tell my daughter, you're taking too much of sweet food. Okay. Then Gandhi said, come back 2 weeks later. Come back 2 weeks later. And 2 weeks later, they came back. Then Gandhi told the daughter, you should listen to your mama. You shouldn't eat too much of sweet food. Of course, the girl listened. But the mom was very curious, why wait 2 weeks? Why wait 2 weeks? Why not immediately tell? Since you're nodding your head, do you know why? You know the reason. So Gandhi said, the reason I didn't tell your daughter to take less sweet food, because at that time, I was still eating too much of sweet food. So it took 2 weeks time to remind himself to eat less sweet food. So again, related to this, whenever you want to share the precept, it's important that at least we practice ourselves. We don't have to be perfect. As long as we are making an attempt to practice, it's good enough. It's very important. In fact, when I'm sharing this, I have to do a lot of inner work, inner journey and reflections, If I would have thought, sometimes the Mara will be talking, the Mara will say that you have no right to do this sharing. You're not perfect in your precept. The Mara will say, you're not perfect in your precept. And you're speaking of precept. No way. But the right understanding will be, we don't have to be perfect. It's good enough if we make an attempt. It's a training rule. Precepts are also described as a guide. It's a training guide. It's a training guide as long as you put an effort. So similarly in my clinic, last time when I was young, I used to tell my patient, hey, exercise, exercise. To be honest, when I was young, I felt a bit like hypocrite. The words are no power. I mean, you can say it, people respect you. Doctor tell you, don't drink so much alcohol, exercise more. I mean, you're a doctor, people more or less respect. But the words had less power. But now I exercise. I go for my badminton game 2-3 times per week. Still fit. I'm 50 this year. Still quite fit. So now when I tell my patient, you better exercise. And I hang a badminton racket in my clinic. Really, I hang a racket over there. Then more power. More power. Again, I don't have to be perfect. I'm exercising. I'm not playing badminton at the Olympic level. No, not at that level. But at least I practice it. This one, okay, this one, last one, very, very important. Okay, this one, very, very important. This is the last point. Okay. I follow the precepts to keep my mind calm and wise. You still remember the lyrics of the Song of Songs, the last part? The wonderful precepts we observe as a path to stillness and wisdom. As a path to stillness and wisdom. Okay, so the important part is the Buddha emphasized on precept, but the Buddha did not just stop at precept. Precept is only part of the cultivation of the dana, sila, bhavana, or the sila, samadhi, panya. So the further training, the practice of precept is to support us in other practice. Like one part is the samadhi practice, is to support us to calm our mind, to have composure, to have stillness. So it makes sense if if we practice our precept well, to be less guilt. Our conscience is clear. So when I meditate, I don't have to think, oh, that day, should I call the patient? I don't call the, I don't have to worry about this thing. I tell my conscience is very clear. So it supports stillness. It also supports wisdom. Very important. Also not often emphasized. Okay. It doesn't end at just precept. Precept is to support the higher practice. Stillness of the mind. Wisdom. Support listening to Dharma. Support the understanding of the Four Noble Truths and Noble Eightfold Path. That's why the Basika series, Basika series, the last part is on understanding of the Four Noble Truths and the Noble Eightfold Path. I saw the syllabus, the framework. So it's Dana, Sila, and then learn how to calm the mind, and then understanding of the Four Noble Truths, the Noble Eightfold Path is in this sequence. So related to that, so it's important not to cling to the precept. In fact, there's a thing called clinging to precepts. It's actually in the sutta. There's a thing called clinging to precept, the upadana, clinging. Okay, so there's a type of clinging called clinging to rituals and rules. Okay, I read to you. It means attachment to rituals, religious practice, or precepts, believing that they in themselves lead to purification without understanding the underlying purpose or spirit of this practice. Yeah. So when we are too obsessed with the precept, thinking that by just observing precept, we can be enlightened. Believing that if you bow and bow and bow and bow and bow, then you get enlightened. Believe that if you offer, just make offer, every week just offer, do offering, then you'll be enlightened. Or believing that if you sit in meditation, you sit, just sit in a specific posture, you'll be enlightened. That is wrong view. That's wrong view. So I have to put things in perspective. So precept has its role. Virtue has its role. Morality has its role. But to look at bigger picture, it will support the other practice, the samadhi practice and the wisdom practice. So if you do not have the wisdom, then you'll be very obsessed with the typical questions of the precept, like, is this precept broken down, precept broken? I give you some examples. For example, the one, not using antibiotic to treat a bacterial infection because it kills bacteria. That way is clinging to precepts. Okay. Another one, not using a public restroom, public toilet, because the toilet paper not explicitly offered, not offered. People offer you toilet paper, no, that is crazy. Or judging LGBT individuals, LGBT individuals, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, equating that as breaking the third precept, that is also not true. I just randomly choose. I refuse to take medication during meditation retreat. That's also clinging. That's wrong view. Criticizing another person, criticizing a person using medication. In my field, I'm a psychiatrist. Criticizing people for using medication to treat mental illness. In fact, this is a real case. Recently, I have a mom who brought her son to my clinic. But before they came to clinic, usually they will email me. They will email me or they WhatsApp me, email. Okay. So the mom gave me the history. Basically, the son has some mental health issue. Okay. But she wrote something very interesting in the email. She said, we are practicing Buddhist. We observe the precepts well. Okay. So therefore, we don't want medication, something like that. So that was a very interesting message. Buddhist background, mother is a Buddhist, son was also a Buddhist, very serious practitioner. But the email says, we are serious practitioner, we observe the precept well, we don't want to use medication. Okay? So it's implying that taking medication is against the precept. You get what I'm trying to say? Of course, it's not lah. So I'm just giving you that as an example. That is clinging. That's upadana. That's clinging. That's obsession with the precept. Okay, I'm going to the end. Okay, so far I've been talking about the 5 precepts because we are all laymen. For your information, there's also the 8 precepts. There's also 10 precepts. And then for monks, we got 200. I need 227. For nuns, got 300 plus. Okay, but actually it's very simple. You can actually summarize to very simple. Sometimes we don't have to be too obsessed with so many precepts. Okay. In fact, there's one teaching in this sutta. The Buddha was actually giving some teaching to his son, Rahula. Rahula was also renowned. And Rahula at one time was lying. He was lying, and the Buddha was giving a teaching. So the main message from this, if we don't have to be too obsessed with so many precepts, keep to the basic. So in this sutta, the Buddha used the simile of the mirror. Okay. All we need to do is to reflect, like a mirror reflect. Before any action, during any action, and after any action. Just ensure we do not cause harm to ourselves and others. Simple as that. So similarly, today I'm here for this sharing. It's an action. So before I come, I reflect. While doing the sharing, I reflect. Afterwards, when I leave, I will reflect again, just to make sure I do not cause any harm to myself or others intentionally. So that is the summary. So the Dharma in brief. Back to the Dharma in brief. The main part of the Dharma in brief, or precept in brief. Okay. Why and how we observe the precept, which is compassion and wisdom. The why and how we observe the precept, morality or virtue, are more important than obsession with whether a precept is broken. So whenever you're not sure whether a precept is not broken, just go back to the why and how. Okay, I think that's the last slide. Okay, so with this, I will end the sharing. I hope you learned something new, something meaningful.